Hello everyone, and welcome back to the How to Build an RTS Game from Start to Finish series, where we learn how to build a game from the ground up while completely at the mercy of you guys. Hey guys, in our last video, we added the ability to set a waypoint so that our units could start moving there in that direction. And if you haven't seen that one yet, I'll go ahead and leave a link in the card and in the description below. This time we're going to actually be making our units set their stats in a lot better way. And as I've kind of touched on this before, where this build is actually just kind of rapid prototyping right now, and just kind of showing you guys my process as I go through this. And a lot of this code is going to change from time to time to make it better and better and better as we go. A lot of the times, the first time it goes in is just to sort of make it functional, make it work. That way we can improve on it later. Um, and also, it's actually time to announce our game jam winners. And if you're not familiar with the game jam we hosted, it was a spooky theme, and you only had 3 days to build a game, and you had a chance to win some pretty awesome prizes that we went over with in Discord and from our good buddies over there at the Red Village. So again, thanks everyone who participated. It was super fun. So drum roll, please. Winners are Colin Edge and Zeta for their game that they called Dead of the Dawn, which is super awesome. If you want to see some gameplay, head over to the gaming channel and check it out there. Their game was super awesome zombie game where you actually got to take over the other zombies after you killed them, and they start fighting for you. And it was pretty cool. And again, this was done in 3 days, so obviously it's not a fully fleshed out game, but amazing nonetheless. Great job, guys, and I hope to see if you guys do anything more with it. All right, so let's just get into fixing our units. The first thing that I want to do on this is go into our unit stat display, which is going to be right here. And while this opens up, I'm going to be changing pretty much completely how it all works. And hopefully this also removes a lot of issues that people were having where stats were being set before or those stats weren't being set in time and the characters were dying and things like that. So let's go on ahead and change one of our functions here. So in this start function, I want to change this up a lot. I'm actually going to highlight all this, hit Control X, and just cut that out. And instead of start, I'm going to make it its own function. Set stat display. Well, let's let's make it public. Why is it way over there? That's awkward. Public void set stat display. Um, And we'll just do one for each type. So we'll do a unit, and then we want a unit stat types dot base. We'll just call it stats. And then we also were setting whether or not this was a player in here. So let's make a bool. So we'll say bool is player. And now what we can do is, instead of having all of that nonsense that we had before, is we'll just set our max health to stats.health, right? And then we'll set our armor to stats.armor. And then we'll set is player unit equal to is player. Then current health is equal to max health. Okay, now this is only going to do that for our units. So we need to set up a way to do that in case for some reason we're doing a building. So we'll do public void set stat display. We'll do basic building. And I'm going to specify this as a basic unit as well. So basic building. And this time we actually want a buildings dot building stat types and dot base, and we'll call this stats, and bool is player, right? So we're basically just going to do the same exact thing. So I am just going to copy this and paste it right there. Okay, so let's save that. And now that that's set, we can start changing up how our units actually handle these things. So I don't see mine right up here, so I'm just going to hop over into Unity, and I'm going to go to my units folder. Let's put these down a little bit. Here we go, units. So I want my player unit. I also want my enemy unit, and we also want our building. So, and I believe this is in the, I think it's called player building. Yeah. Okay, great. So what we want to change in all three of these is going to be pretty much the exact same thing for all of these. Right here where these base stats are, um, we still want those, but I'm going to hide these in Inspector just because I don't want to accidentally be changing these around at all. And we're going to add in a few things. The first one is we're going to grab, for at least for the buildings one, we're going to do public, um, and it's going to be a, I forget what it's called actually for the building. I think it's building, yeah, building stat types, and we'll just call it stats. And let's create a start function. And in here, we'll just say base stats equals stats dot, no, it just equals stats. Oh, no, no, no. We don't actually want these anymore. We wanted the building type, right? So we're going to do a basic building, and we'll say this is going to be the building type. Okay. And then we'll say building type dot base stats. Okay, so we're setting our base stats based on the type that we set our building from. And we're going to do the same thing in our player unit. Right here, we will hide an inspector just because I don't want to see it. And then we will say public basic unit, unit type, and we actually are going to need one more thing here. We want to have access to our unit stat displays for both of those as well. So public unit stat display, we'll just call it stat display. And then this will need, I'm going to change this to start. And then we'll just add base stats equals unit type dot base stats. Okay, save that, head over here and do the same thing. This is back in our player building script. We're going to add a public stat display units dot unit stat display. There we go. Let's call it stat display. And we can't actually do anything with this one right now because our building doesn't actually have a stat display on it, so we're just going to leave that how it is for now. Now in our enemy units, we're going to do the same thing again. Let's find our stat types. We'll hide in inspector. You don't have to hide them. I just am because I don't want to see them. Public unit or basic unit, unit type. Okay. And then under here, I'm also going to do a public unit stat display. Okay, in our start function, we'll set our base stats equal to our unit type. Unit type dot base stats. Great. Okay. Now that the functions that we set up earlier in our unit stat types, we're gonna use those now. So unit stat what I called it, stat display, huh? Stat display. Um, and we have set basic unit, and this is an enemy unit, right? So we're going to pass it our unit type, and then we're going to pass it our um, whether it's a player unit or not. And because this is in our enemy unit script, then we send it a false. Oh, right, we want to send it our base stats. Base stats. Okay. So I'm just going to copy this, and we're going to move that over into player unit as well. Except for here, we're going to change this to true. Okay. And then in our buildings, we will do the same thing, except we'll set this to true as well. And instead of base stat, yeah, we do still want to send base stats, except for we can't send basic unit. We have to send it to basic building. Okay. Okay. Now, we still have a few things we got to do here. So let's go over to our action timer. And inside of our action timer, there's a few things I want to do. Well, actually, probably just one. I'm going to remove this because there's no need for it to be in here. Because since we're calling this already, we can just do it in there and not have to go find it multiple times. So now I want to go to our action frame script, and now we're going to change our spawn object script. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this. And before I forget, I'm going to paste that action frame, blah, 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 blah. And instead, we'll just remove the instance off of there. Okay, so now we have spawn queue.remove, and we're just going to remove like this. Okay, and then I'm going to highlight this, copy it, paste it, and then instead of spawn queue, we're going to do spawn order, and then we're going to also remove it from the spawn order. Spawn order, yep, okay. Now I'm actually going to cut this, and I'm going to put this at the very bottom is going to be the last thing that I want to do. So instead of having our units just spawn randomly, we do need to have them put into like their parent, and also be able to be selected and stuff like that, right? Because I think because of that, we couldn't select them because they weren't in their proper places. So let's do this. Let's set the parent right here. And to do that, I'm going to do a little. Do I want to do it here? You know what? Let's not do it here. You can actually set parent right here, but I think I want to do this a little differently. And I'm going to say units dot player unit. There we go. Pu is equal to our spawned object dot get component units. Oh my gosh, I always do unity. Units dot player unit. Okay. Okay. So now that we have its component, let's just type pu pu dot transform dot set parent. Okay, and then we'll do game object. We want a capital game object. Yeah, game object dot find, and we're just gonna find based on the name of what we're setting. Well, because this actual player unit script, right, is like warriors, things like that, the of the type of them. So we're gonna just say pu dot unit type. So that way we know whether it's a warrior, a healer, or whatever. And then um, we'll do dot. Oh yeah, we want to grab its type. So and then we're gonna type toString, and then I'm gonna add an S at it, right? Because we know that it's like warriors, not warrior. What am I missing here? Missing something. What am I missing? Should I cannot convert Unity. Oh, because I have to make it a transform. Okay. So we want to set the parent transform. Perfect. Okay. One more thing that we need to do, oops, is we're going to go over to our player unit script, which I thought I had out. I did. Okay. Um, we're going to change the way this move unit works because as soon as they get spawned, it might not run through this fully, and we don't want that to happen. And it most likely will, but just in case for any reason this nav agent is null, um, we're going to change this up. And I don't want that underscore. It bothers me. So I'm removing that underscore for one. And then I'm going to say if nav agent is equal to null. So if it's null, then the first thing we want to do is set our nav agent. Even though we're already doing it, just in case, get component. Because I've noticed that sometimes um, it won't move even though we've set it this way. So this is kind of my solution to that. So else, then we'll just do the move. Okay, and then we'll save that and make sure everything's saved. Okay, now let's go back into Unity, and there's a few things that we need to do here. Because now that we've sort of changed up how all of this is working, uh-oh, what is this? Is player. Oh, I just created, or did I type it wrong? Oh, I did. I put another capital L. I hate that I do that. Is player. There we go. And we're good. Sweet. Okay. So there's a few things that we need to do. We're going to change up how our prefabs are working. So right now, all we have is infected unit, human unit, but in games we don't. That's not really what happens, right? We have multiples, right? So for our human unit, we'll have like actual different models for each one. So I'm just gonna duplicate this twice. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna delete. I'm gonna delete them, and I'll duplicate them here in a second whenever I add a few things to it. So what I want to do first is we want to set the stat display. So I'm going to open my human unit, grab the unit stat display, put it right there. Unit type is going to be, I guess it doesn't matter. I'll just grab the top one, healer. And then that should be good now. So I'll just save that and back out. And now I'll duplicate my human unit. So 1, 2. And now human unit, I'm just going to rename. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll just call it human. This one was a healer, so human healer. And we'll rename this one to warrior and worker. Great. Now, we need to do the same thing for our infected units. So let's open this guy up, grab the unit stat display, and let's scroll down. Here we go. Unit type, I'll just do healer again for now. And then we'll save, back out, and duplicate him twice, and get to renaming. So instead of unit, we'll type, and instead of infected, we'll type enemy. Enemy healer. Okay. rename, oops, rename enemy warrior and enemy worker. Great. So now I have all these set up for everyone. And now we want to take to our warrior, and we're going to change his unit type to warrior. And our worker is going to be a worker, human healer. Oh, he's already a healer. Warrior and worker. There. Now that we have all of that set, we do actually, on our building, we don't have the stuff to put in there. So we'll see if it throws any errors. If it does, then we'll change up the code a little bit. But for now, this is okay. The next thing I want to focus on is looking at our actual scriptable objects here. And now you notice our healer, we got healer, healer, great. Warriors, still says healer, so let's grab our warriors. So there's warrior, and human warrior. Okay, and then workers is human worker and human, human worker and enemy worker. Okay, let's make sure I did that right. Okay, perfect. Okay, now this should be pretty much all we need to do. So I'm going to hit play, and we're going to give her a good old college try, except for, yeah, so it's going to cry about it. So first thing then, oh, it's probably because we're trying to actually use it. We're trying to set its stuff. So I'm actually just going to comment this out for now, but we will end up using it later on. So let's retry that. Oh, what do we got now? Base stats. 16. Okay, so our building types setting its base stats is saying that this does not exist for us because we didn't set our building type. So we need to go grab our barracks, put our building type in there. Now we should be able to hit play, unless it cries about stat display again, but I don't think it will. Okay, so here's our building. We can set our little flag. Let's see what happens whenever I try to summon a person. Okay, he still spawns and he still goes to the flag. Can I select him now? Oh, I can click on him, but I can't highlight select him. Now let's see why that is. Let's see if he's getting set into our player units properly. Doesn't seem so. So it looks like he's actually being set in here. He got set into the enemy one because of how we were setting it. It found this first before ours. So one thing that we should probably do then is change how we are doing that. And that is in our action frame. So when I went to find the type, it found this, but it, since it's named the same as the enemy ones, it didn't work. So one solution that I can do for this for now is instead of workers, I'm going to say player workers. Right? Maybe I'll put a space in there. Because we got player units on there too, which is kind of gets redundant, but for now this should be okay. So we'll do player healers and stuff like that, okay? So now when I come in here, I want to put in front of our thing here, we're going to type player space. Make sure to put that space there if you put a space in yours, and then plus. So now when I do it, it'll only grab these ones. So now when we hit play and I create a person, here we go, he spawned. Now I can highlight, grab him. The reason that I can highlight and grab him now is because they have to be inside of here because they're on, um, it's checking if it's one of our units, right? So if they're not in here, then we can't highlight select them. We can click them, but we couldn't highlight. And I just want to check one more thing now. I'm going to spawn a guy and try and move the flag and see if that works. Okay, so now the flag's moved. Let's see if it spawns him here now. Great. So it does work mid spawning as well. So now we can grab all of our guys. And there you have it, guys. So that's it. I hope you guys are getting along really good on this stuff and really starting to make something of your own out of it. Because remember, like, you don't want to follow me necessarily along 100% exactly what I'm doing. Just kind of use it as a basis for what you're doing. And I really want to see some of your progress, some of the things that you guys are doing. You guys have been so awesome talking in the Discord, showing some progress on some other things that you've been doing. It's been great. And if you guys aren't subscribed yet, you know the drill. Go down, lick the subscribe button, do whatever, do anything you gotta do. It's absolutely free to help the channel. And until next time, guys, peace.